What is good? Fresh crack for a fresh rookie prospect. Sticking with the wide receivers. We've got Zay Flowers and JSN. Go check those out. We're going to hit up some Quentin Johnston today. Going to hit them T's in that name.
Please say the baby.
Yeah.
Don't forget the F or the T.
How's it going over there?
What the fuck
Matthew?
are you talking about?
Lil Wayne's got
F,
stipulations about how you
Please
say his
the baby.
name. Don't call him Quentin Johnston, okay? Someone will freak out. It's Quentin Johnston, and my man is 6'4", 215.
Might be 6'3", 201.
Yeah.
You know.
He's a large specimen.
Right. There is a decent amount of conjecture of what heights and weights are.
Well, we're going to find out here in about 2 weeks. So
We will find out at the Combine. We're finding out some at the Senior Bowl right now.
In the Shrine.
And the Shrine.
Shout out
we're
to
getting
Ryler.
some of those.
we had the NFLPA Bowl this past weekend.
Excellent.
Do you know who's playing at the NFLPA Bowl? Sean Clifford.
Sean Clifford.
Nobody cares.
Yikes.
Quentin Johnston, 21, like that.
Yeah.
You got that 2000 birthday. 2001, excuse me. Late
but for real
2000.
though, anywhere from 200 to 215.
Yeah, he might not be 215.
Yeah.
It'd be fantastic if he was 215. Proposed to run a 4.4. Because the height adjusted speed score would be like in the 99th percentile for sure, which it might still be because he does seem pretty fast out there. We'll get to it.
Might be getting generous with the 215.
Maybe. Did you know he played basketball?
Shocker.
Did you know I think he actually got recruited to Texas to play basketball. Turned down bigger NIL deals to not transfer out at TCU. He said,
Allegedly.
take it to the metrics. 31% dominator in the 57th percentile. I think the 30% dominators is the threshold of where they could possibly be great if they can be above 30%.
Might even be 33.
Doesn't have a breakout age.
Yeah, but that's just because they don't have his birth date on there. I saw that earlier today too. If it's his breakout age, would be like his date of birth is 9/6/2001. So
We can take it to the stats, and that kind of
Take it to
correlates
stats.
to the dominator. He didn't really dominate, right? He
seems to be a consistent theme with TCU wide receivers.
Yeah, fair enough, I suppose.
I don't know the dominator metrics off the top of my head. I know Rager was pretty good in college. I know you're helmet scouting over there. You want to say it, don't you? Just say it, Matt.
Same with Josh Dotson.
Just say it.
Josh Dotson.
Hey, he flashed. He had a chance. That hadn't panned out. I'm not holding any of that shit against Quentin Johnston.
That was not helmet scouting. I was just
Sounded
saying.
like
no. That was more of.
Seems to be so
I was
staunch.
Talking, let me talk, damn it!
All right.
I was gonna say that seems to be more of a indicative of the TCU offense as a whole.
Perhaps.
Not the players.
Perhaps. You look at the overall numbers, 97 targets, and this is taking into account all the postseason games as well. 60 receptions, 1,067 yards, average 17.8 yards per catch, only 6 touchdowns, 8 drops, right? People hate the drops, right? We can get into that in a minute. The hands can be a bit of a question. He lets the ball get on his chest sometimes. He doesn't always attack it outside of his frame, and which also comes into play into the contested catches. People are mad at him about that. He had 54 total contested targets and only 22 contested receptions, which is a 40.7% contested catch rate. They're mad at him about that. 10% in the slot, 90% out wide, so mostly an outside guy. Now, these stats are compared to everyone else in the league for the year of 2022, but we don't take into credit the championship games or the postseason games. So everyone's on the same playing field. You had the same opportunity.
Or thereabout.
Right. So Yak was only 374, had a decent amount more in the championship game.
All of those other numbers had post involved.
Correct.
Yeah. I know he had a couple big yak catches in the Michigan game.
Yep. So he was only ranked 45th in Yak, 40th in Yak per reception at 7.6, but 13th, tied for 13th in missed forced tackles. So he's doing some work out there. There's some questions of whether or not he's soft going to the ball and catching it, but then when he has the ball in his hands, he's making dudes miss, and it looks pretty good. 102nd in targets and 117th in receptions, 70th in yards, 96th in touchdowns. Right, none of these are blowing you out the water. 23rd in yards per route run, pretty strong. And then not a great contested catch rate. some negatives here, right, that people want to get down on. But, I mean, the fact that he's so big and strong, and we can get into the on-the-field pros and cons. There's a lot to like about this dude, and I can see why people are hyped up about him. And I could understand why he might be the first wide receiver off the board in the NFL draft.
Certainly. I mean, we have a whole bunch of different wide receivers in this draft, but he's kind of taking the top billing because of the athleticism and the height weight kind of deal. There isn't really a whole other slew of guys with kind of what he has as a just God-given stature and potential.
And I think I don't have it written down here. But he's been tracked with a 42-inch vert and a 11-foot broad, so he's like explosive as they get.
I mean, all that stuff shows up. All the explosion, all the long speed, all the yak ability. Is sometimes those bigger guys, it's more just a downfield. They're not as comfortable taking something across the middle and then turning that upfield and going. That's usually not a combination. The nimbleness with the bigness and the size, are things that necessarily aren't tied together on a high percentage of players, and that's what you kind of have here. It's not a finished product. The route tree is kind of semi-limited in what he does, but I don't think it's because he clearly has the parts and the pieces of athletic ability to be able to break down and be able to run different routes. It's not like he can only do those because he's some stiff giant. Like, he should be able to run all those intermediate short stuff. There was some drops this year, 8, but the years before was only like 2 and 3. Now, granted, this was the most volume that he had, but I mean, in 2001 or in 2021, he had 61 targets to 78 targets in the regular season. That's what I'm looking at right in front of me. So when I hit those drops, he had a little bit bigger season and just some more maybe drops, but they haven't been a huge problem for him necessarily throughout his career.
I'm not worried about the drops. I'm more worried about the things that are causing the drops.
I don't know why what's causing the drops? Like,
he's letting the ball. Jay-Win already said.
Sure, but what I'm saying is, like, he obviously has the ability to not have that happen to him. Like,
there are plenty of examples of him plucking it out of the air and going up and making contested catches, one-handed catches, high pointing.
I guess what I'm getting at is his drops just really shouldn't be that.
No,
much
I'm not that concerned about. I'm not
into,
concerned about the counting stat of drops.
Right. It just doesn't matter all that much. Like, he has all the raw talent. He has all the raw ability. That's why the NFL draft is gonna most likely elevate him to the first receiver overall. Is he the best receiver right now overall? No, I'm certainly not. As far as ability and refined, NFL level route running and all that kind of stuff. No, but the NFL is going to covet what he has, and this isn't a draft class that has a whole lot of it. So, I don't really care about the drops or the route running. The lack of route tree, it doesn't really bother me.
Right, because he is so athletic, and for being such a big man, like, the footwork is pretty good.
Right.
The stop ability is great. The short area explosion. Like, would you say he's borderline twitchy? Like, does he have some twitch?
He's definitely twitchy for his size. I
Right.
would say he's twitchy for his size for sure.
Agreed.
I don't know if I'd call him twitchy as a general consensus, but he's definitely for 6'4" and however much he weighs, over 200 pounds.
Right. I mean, the whole thing is you're taking a first round pick. He might be the first receiver off the board, and you would like to think that maybe you're getting a little bit more of a polished product. But I mean, it's fucking your job to coach somebody to take this ability, harness it, and morph it into the monster that he could possibly be.
And he does seem coachable. From what
DK Metcalf didn't have a big route tree either, and people shat all over him for that. And this guy's probably got better agility than what the 3-cone will probably be better than.
Or he won't run it. He'll learn from his predecessors.
3-cone. Now he's obviously not the quite the physical specimen as far as
most
appearance.
99.99% of the world is not the physical specimen that DK Metcalf is.
He also isn't the physical. He doesn't play as physical. Like, you can jam him. You can get him off. Yeah. He does lose his balance sometimes. The surf monster gets him here and there. And you can't.
Yes.
There are examples of him beating press and having some powerful, release moves. But then you can also see him get taking over a little physically and in the contested area. Like he tends to let the ball come to him instead of like attacking it.
Yeah,
in the
he's certainly not as aggressive as somebody of his stature should necessarily. You would expect them to be in that area.
Does draw a decent amount of pass interference calls, though. He is a handful to deal with when he decides to do it.
Yeah.
As far as the jams and such, I mean, he is a bit of a bigger guy with maybe, again, lack of physical prowess of just being this big monster of a man, like just jacked. Not that he's obviously not small by any means, but I think that's part of the him being, he's so big, he's got such a big midsection to be able to get your hands on that if you can, I think that's a coachable thing to say, hey, guys in the NFL know how to work that section and make that a little smaller and know how to, avoid you getting your hands on that chest.
Got to work the body.
Right. This guy's not a finished product. Was he my favorite guy to watch here? Quentin Johnston? No. Is he my favorite? Is he my favorite receiver? Do I want to take him as the first overall as receiver, NFL or fantasy draft? Not really. I don't love it, but I probably would currently. I mean, we're through 5 or 6 guys right now for us personally, wide receivers wise, and I think you probably do have to toss him at the top of the list. I mean, for me personally, right this minute.
I can't argue with that. If you want to take Quentin first as your first wide receiver in the NFL or in your fantasy drafts, I can't. I'm not going to say, oh, that's dumb, and I'm not going to do it. I might want to try and get a little bit of every one of these dudes because these top 3 guys are pretty fantastic prospects, and I want a little bit of all of them. And, you got to diversify a little bit. I know none of y'all out there have, like, one league, so, you probably want to get a little bit of piece of all these guys.
You want a little more dog in them in Quentin Johnston, You
don't see those memes where the dog's inside the X-ray.
I'm going to disagree with you guys.
What's that? Go ahead.
Don't have him. I don't see a reason. Yes. Are the tools there? Is the frame there? Yes. I just have a lot of questions about his ability as a route runner and the hands thing. He does get beat with.
Same things with DK though, right?
Okay, but he's not. He's not DK. But he's not DK, and that's he's 6'4".
He's Quentin.
Yeah, he's not DK Metcalf. He's not Julio Jones. He's just 6'4". There's not everyone who's 6'4".
But he's super fast. He just has some curvy linear bend to him as well. Some strong yak. And the ability to go up and catch. He doesn't always do it. He's got to harness a little bit. He's not a polished product.
Sure.
But the potential is
there's potential.
Roof,
but there's potential through the roof all over the board. There's potential. I'm not saying there's not going to be potential. I'm not saying there's not potential. Don't get me. Don't. I didn't say that at all. I'm just going to take the floor of the other guys, of those guys who I think are a bit safer and offer maybe 80, maybe 90 to 95% of the upside there. When I think I can get 20 to 30% more on their floor.
If you're the kind of guy that likes these big, fast receivers, you're looking for that kind of thing, that's your thing, then this is the guy for you. And I do think that he's going to hold some value regardless of what happens.
All of these guys, if you get taken in the first round, you're going to hold value. It's just what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know that it'll be the first receiver off the board in the NFL draft. It's pointing towards that way. If the combine goes well, then probably. Who would you rather have, and what do you have any more negatives against Quentin Johnston here?
No, that's just his ability as a route runner. I mean, UGA bodied him the whole game. They were very physical with him. Yes, and so we're talking about Keely Ringo here, who could be the first, cornerback taken in the draft. I get it, but he wasn't. But that's not the only person who was covering him, and he had 1 catch for 3 yards.
Yeah,
it seems like he
crushed.
They got crushed.
They were overmatched, outmatched, outgunned. He got missed on a big pass.
Yeah, they were out everything.
Right.
But even still, they were down literally the entire game and had 3 yards receiving.
Yeah, I mean, you put 2 of the best guys in the country on the best defense in the country covering.
Yeah, but they had the backups in the midway through the third quarter.
Right. I mean, how much are you? I mean, sure. Yeah, you can be upset about the Georgia game. That's fine.
I'm just saying. Every year.
What about the Michigan game?
Yeah, just saying.
What about that Michigan game though?
Yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't happening.
Right. It's unfortunate that TCU got absolutely shellacked in the national championship game.
Probably one of the most boring national championship games I've watched in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm fucking tuning out, I
tuned out the second quarter.
I don't know how much those dudes are giving a shit. You're getting just all. Maybe Quentin Johnston's thinking about, hey, let's just not go out here and get fucking hurt in the second.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you're down 35 going into 35 or 42 going into halftime.
Right. And so, yes, we're in the Big 12 and we don't like the competition. And you get a shot at the SEC team and, it's not a good look for having one catch. Was there any other negative points for you?
No, I think there's a lot of good things there. He's strong after the catch. He, like I said, Jay Wayne said, he shows more weight than you think of guys of his frame. He works well in traffic. I mean, fucking Lincoln Riley's brother had him running 1 million 3-yard crossing routes this year. I think I probably saw him run about 3,000 of them.
Wide the fuck open pretty much for the most part. And that comeback route. Oh my God.
How do you feel about Lincoln Riley's brother?
Let's go. Go Tigers. Wide open arms, baby.
Yeah. And I will say one thing I did like about his route is he does a really good job at the stem when he's making those breaks. He does a nice job there. There's other parts of the route that I'm not in love with.
Yeah.
So again, there's pieces there to like. I've been burned so many times by these guys where you see it where, okay, I can see it. If he gets coached up a little bit, he'll be there. He'll be a stud. And I'm just like, and then 3 years later, I'm sitting with nothing in my hand. So I'd rather hit that.
Like other TCU wide receivers?
No, I fuck the TCU wide receivers. I was a Jalen Reagor hater from day one.
So who burned you though?
It's the guys like
first round guys?
N'Keal Harry.
Well, that was your own fault.
Yeah.
We told you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Who else did you guys like on that draft?
I had Hakeem Butler.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Guess what? Hakeem Butler didn't cost me anything to draft.
Well, that's because he fell. You know.
Sure.
Yeah. But it's guys like that.
I was wrong on the evaluation there, and I'll still stick by that. I'm going to assume that it's something with the human being of Hakeem Butler not being able to grasp and work. I hate to question a man's work ethic and fortitude, but he certainly had the ability.
Sure. I don't mean to bring up Hakeem Butler.
No, it's fine.
Time,
I'll gladly talk about Hakeem Butler, and I fucking loved Hakeem Butler.
Yeah, there's plenty of guys that
I thought, and then you adjust when that happens. But I tell you, who was never on any teams of mine was N'Keal Harry. The tape was hot garbage. He wasn't good.
He was great he was great 20 yards and in.
So shout out to JB on this list. He added contested catch percentage for your final year, which they had to invent that stat for N'Keal Harry to figure out why the fuck he was so bad in the NFL. He had a 32.7% contested target percentage. Quentin only at 23. That's a green box right there, not a red one.
I think we all mostly agree on the negatives. It's just how far do you want to push the positives, and I'm willing to push them a little further because I think I like them a good bit. The capital's going to be good. Maybe he goes to the wrong spot and doesn't get the coaching he needs and in the right system. But it's Addison and JSN are pretty much the next two guys in line in any circle. Right?
Yep.
Yes, those guys could turn into one of the best wide receivers in the league and be crushing, but what you're potentially could be getting is that alpha number one with Quentin Johnston, which is the reason why he's probably going to end up going higher in the draft. So, to me, it seems like the athletic floor is good enough. The tape floor is good enough that I'm okay with pushing him ahead of those guys for what the ceiling kind of could be.
And I think that's where we differ.
I think and it's not that I don't like Addison. And as we get further in this process, maybe I'm going to take Addison over Quentin Johnston, and maybe there'll be more running backs I want to take over Quentin Johnston.
Well, sure. We haven't.
But-
We're in the infancy stages
Right.
of the rookie evaluation.
We're about to hit some running backs and then go back to wide receivers. And we haven't
To
done any
be
of
fair,
them.
though, we're going to do Addison next. We got JSN, and we've done Zay Flowers, and now we're doing Quentin Johnston. So I think everybody should have an idea of kind of how where they want to stack those guys up. You said you would take other guys in front of him?
The other two you mentioned.
So JSN and Addison,
Yeah,
every time over him.
yeah.
I could take Addison.
Yeah,
I could take him for sure. I mean, that dude's a freak. We're about to get into it. But I could also take Quentin. I would have to get a little bit of both. I'm not gonna. It's not every time I'm gonna not take Quentin. And I might regret it. I might hit that button and be like, ah.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't feel comfortable taking him at 101. Would I feel comfortable taking him at 105, 106? Absolutely.
Wait, when you say
Maybe not
101,
as the second non-quarterback off the board.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I'm there.
yeah.
I'm not sure I can.
I can't wait to do Gibbs because people are really shitting on Gibbs and.
Quentin Johnston's going to be interesting because, like you said, there isn't anything for the metrics community to necessarily latch on besides, I think the combine will probably be good for Quentin Johnston. So that
sure, and you're talking about from an athletic perspective.
But
yeah.
there is
Combine was also good for Zay Jones.
all those other metrics don't jump out at you to say this guy is absolutely elite.
I feel like he checks enough boxes where he's like, okay, there's nothing crossing him off,
Right.
but there's nothing really checking. He's checking a huge amount of boxes. He's kind of just floating in that mid range where, okay, well, where he's not checking the boxes where, okay, he has those elite traits, but he's also not crossing them off the list where he's falling below certain thresholds. Thank you. Certain thresholds there. So again,
His height adjusted speed score is not that far off from DK Metcalf. Must be good.
great. He can run in a straight line fast.
You're not talking shit about
So
DK.
could Darius Hayward-Bay.
Sure, but so that I think just obviously we're going around in circles here, and we should probably wrap it up. But for
sure,
I think that's why you have him at the top, because he is more than just being able to run fast in a straight line. Like he
has lateral agility.
the hips are good, the bend is good, the movement's good, the feet are pretty solid.
Stop and start ability.
So that to me is why I'm tentatively right now would put him at the top, and it's definitely close between him and Addison for me. So you look like you got something else.
I'll ask you off air.
Okay.
Oh, take it to the streets. All right, y'all. Well, we appreciate you for joining us. Definitely hit that like, subscribe. Tell us in the comments below where you got Quentin Johnston.
This is going to change. We're going to do mocks. We're going to talk all about all this kind of stuff. And
We need to hit another mock.
we'll have more information.
You know what they say?
What's that?
You got to mock it up before you fuck it up.
That's right.
That is what they say.
We're going to do a mock with, I think, with JB squad here coming up. Going to get round one.
With the rest of JB squad?
I think so.
Bring them up.
I think so. So
All right, y'all.
be sure
We'll
to
appreciate
like,
y'all
subscribe, comment below.
for joining us. We'll be back. We'll hit a little Jordan Addison for your pleasure. Peace.